Potential Summit 2.0. When I was a photographer, there's things I did to get better photographs that I do to get better results in my life. And one of the most important things you can do to change your results is to change your perspective. Now, changing your perspective is simple, but it's not easy. Most of how you do things, how you view things, starts up here. Everything is energy, including your thoughts. And the law of vibration states that energy vibrates. Now, I don't have command of the time right now to go into the 7 laws of the universe. I do that in a different course that I offer. But here's what I know. Everything is made of energy, including your thoughts. All energy has a vibration. Different kinds of energy vibrate at different frequencies. And like energy attracts like energy. Think of a magnet and steel, or your dog in a potato chip bag, right? Like when you think of a person, the phone rings, and it's them. Or you see them someplace unexpected. Or when Monday comes and you don't want to get up, don't want to go to work. You think about how much you hate Mondays because they're always so lousy. And God, Source, the universe, whatever you call it, says, as you wish. And Monday is just as you thought. Now, I used to hate Mondays. We had just awful, useless staff meetings. Everyone was always in a bad mood. Then I decided to change my thoughts about Mondays. I decided to make sure my week started off well, with a smile. And I started to call them Mondays, and became even more open to Monday being an excellent day. Now, I still do that. Some of you may have received text from me on a Monday saying, Happy Monday! I've been able to change my perspective about Mondays. Now, I didn't change Mondays. They're still Mondays. I've changed how I view Mondays. I've changed how I feel about Mondays. And like energy attracts like energy. My Mondays are now Mondays. Dr. Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So here's 3 ways to change how you look at things. Number 1, acknowledge the circumstance for what it is, because that's all it is. A circumstance has no significance until you assign it some. So let's go back to my husband and his circumstance. He had a deadly infection in his heart. If surgery wasn't performed, he would die. The infection would kill him. The other option was to do open heart surgery and replace the infected valve. Other than the infection, he was physically strong. At 49, if he didn't arrest on the table, he should be okay. Remember, Dragnet? Just the facts, ma'am. We acknowledged the facts. So take a step back. Do this with me. Stand up and take a step back. Take a deep breath. Take a breath with me. And just acknowledge it for what it is. Take the emotion right out of it. Number 2, respond, don't react. Now, for most of us, we're going to react. A knee-jerk gut reaction. My gut reaction was, you must be mistaken. But of course they weren't. And then I did the first thing I could think of. I started crying. And that's okay. We're human. We're going to react. But don't stay there. Get it out of your system. Then take another deep breath. and start to think, because a response takes thought. The act of thinking purposefully will help calm your emotions, and the brain fog will start to clear. Now, back in the ICU, I took a few deep breaths, then I prayed, made some very difficult phone calls, and talked to my husband about what was coming. And I told him I loved him, and then he went to surgery. Number one, just the facts. Acknowledge the circumstance for what it is. Number two, respond, not react. Number three, change how you're looking at your circumstance. This is probably the most difficult one, because how we do things many times is based on habit. To change how we do anything, we must be very intentional, very focused, and that's difficult to do when things aren't going as planned. It's hard to focus, to think clearly when we're under stress. My husband had the surgery, and he came through it with no problems. But 8 weeks later, the new valve started to tear loose, and we were told he needed another open heart surgery. Now, the law of polarity states that everything has an equal and opposite state. You can't be inside, there's no outside. There's no up without a down. Whatever your circumstance is, figure out what its opposite is. And recognize that however bad your circumstance is, there is an equally good side to that. Remember, everything has an equal and opposite state. Full transparency here, I had to look long and hard to find the equal good in my husband's circumstance. Now, it took a lot to upset my husband and make him lose his cool. But when he got the news that they were going to open his chest again, he was furious. But only for about 10 minutes. Then he shrugged his shoulders, said, "What's a guy to do? Let's just get it done." And then he was fine. Yeah, he was very dedicated to his work and being the best at it he could be. He was the only one who did what he did, so he felt he couldn't take time off. He had these 2 surgeries, all of the recovery time, the sick time before the first one, and he still had over 500 hours of time to use. And he had to use it or lose it. So he finally saw that he was running his body right into the ground. He started taking the month of December off every year, and we took these amazing cruises to refresh ourselves. Number 1, just the facts, ma'am. Number 2, respond, not react. Number 3, change how you're looking at your circumstance. So, what were some keepers, some takeaways that you've gotten so far? Let's share them in the comments. I'll give you a second here. Now, have you noticed that after an accident or an incident, many times the witness statements don't match? How can that be? If they were all there, shouldn't they have all seen, all heard the same thing? Not necessarily. Even though they were all present for the same event, they're going to see or hear the scene differently. Just a small difference in the angle of their view could change what was actually seen. Allow me to share an experiment I did. One year I participated in a career fair at a middle school. I took several cameras and several different items. Now, I invited the kids to take pictures of the items, and I'd get them to their teachers so they could take them home with them. There were only 5 items, and I had 12 students participate in this experiment. They were all at the same event. They all had the same items to photograph, and each of them took completely different photographs of the same things. They each focused on a different part of the display, or they used different angles, or even different settings on the camera. Because even though the items in the event were all the same, each person chose something different to focus on. Now, all the home security cameras, even those don't always focus on what is actually happening. The focus is pulled to be what happens right in front of the camera lens. And many times we miss what was going on at the edge of the frame or behind the main item of focus. Now, Tony Robbins reminds us, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where are you focusing your attention, your energy? Now, as a photographer, I changed angles constantly to get the best result. There's a great exercise I use to do this when I'm stuck finding a solution to a problem. Are you ready? Grab your pen and paper. You want to write this down. You're going to take a large piece of paper, like from a flip chart or poster board, and you're going to write the problem that you're working on in large letters on the paper. You're going to put the paper in the middle of a table, and then you're going to go sit down, look at the problem, and ponder solutions. And when you can't think of any more, or any at all, get up and move to another part of the table. Now, don't move or turn the paper. Leave it where it is. You move. Now, ponder it some more from where you're now standing. When I do this, I almost immediately find a solution. Now, back to Dr. Dyer's message. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. By changing the angle, the perspective that you're working from, you'll see it in a whole new light. And it doesn't have to be a big change. Just a small shift can make a big difference. Dr. Robert Cialdini, co-author of The Small Bigs, he's researched and documented the smallest changes that will lead to the biggest effects. His research was on influence and behavior, but the principles work the same for everything. One of the easiest small bigs is a smile. Just a smile at someone can let them know that they are seen, that they exist. You have no idea how much difference a smile can make to someone. What's one small thing you can do to make the biggest impact on your results? Share them in the comments. So, how does changing your perspective help you illuminate your potential? Using these techniques can help you rise above your challenges, your circumstances, and be a beacon of hope and inspiration, not only for yourself, but for others. You never know who is watching, who is listening, because your circumstance is similar to their own. And they're looking for guidance, inspiration on how to do, be, have better. And you may be that light for that person. While you're lighting your way, you're also shining brightly for others to follow, to see their way, their potential. Stop hiding in the dark. You have a purpose, and that purpose gives you life. It lights your way. You have infinite potential. You couldn't think of something if it's not possible to do, be, or have it. Now, if you'd like help discovering your potential, you can schedule a free strategy session with me. Just scan the QR code or follow the link below. And be the sun. Let it shine on you, sharing your gifts for all willing to receive them. Your future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.